Hey, folks, this is Brian Blessing. Hope you're enjoying the Hockey Betting Podcast. We have a couple chuckles, try to get you a lot of winners. If you like what you're hearing, hit the subscribe button, give us a review, give us a rating. Most importantly, enjoy the hockey and keep coming back to the Hockey Betting Podcast.
You're listening to the Hockey Betting Podcast, presented by BetCrisCanada.net. This is the Hockey Betting Preview for Monday, August 10th, 2020. And now, live from Las Vegas, the host of the Hockey Betting Podcast, Brian Blessing.
All right, folks, the Hockey Betting Podcast, the Stanley Cup playoffs actually begin this week with round one. Brian Blessing in Las Vegas. Cam Stewart is covering all of the vast expanse of Canada for us.
Yep.
I just gave you the country.
Thanks, buddy.
Hey, this stuff has been, I got to tell you, hats off, because we carved them like a Christmas ham for a lot of stupid things over the years. Hats off. The NHL has pulled this off better than anybody. And hats off to the players. The quality of play was great. It's riveting. It's exciting. The most exciting thing to me, Cam, and it's going to continue, my favorite 2 days of the year. The Masters, my favorite sporting event. My favorite 2 days of the year are Thursday, Friday of March Madness. And then after that, I could care less what happens. And I got news for you. This is March Madness for hockey with games morning, noon, and night, and it's going to continue on for another 3-4 weeks.
Yeah, the NHL, they pulled this thing off, and I got to be honest with you, Brian, the quality of play has been amazing. The goaltenders have been standing on their heads. We thought they were going to be lax. They were good. The only issue I have, a couple too many penalty calls. There's been too many power plays and 5-on-3s. Other than that, A+ on the report card. These guys have done a great job, and I can't believe the shape these players are in. They picked it right up, and that's hard to do.
All right, let's go. Some of the goodies, I think, before it started. We'll do it when we get to each individual team. What we thought beforehand. Let's go. Let's start east. Phillies minus 250 against Montreal. Listen, hats off to the Habs. They pull it off against Pittsburgh. Price played extremely well, and Montreal tries really hard. Listen, Phillies winning this series, but I got to tell you something, Cam. I'm not buying what everybody's yapping about here. They're talking about Philly like they're the Central Red Army team. And you won 3 round-robin games. They were great before the shutdown, but they were a home ice dominant team. Good for them. They're playing very, very well. But everybody's talking like they're going to win the cup. I'm like, what am I missing here? Yes, they're hot right now, but don't overreact to the round-robin games. They were glorified exhibition games.
Yeah, I agree. And if one team was motivated, it was Philadelphia. Boston didn't show up. Tampa Bay was working on some things. I agree with you. It just Washington, they couldn't care less. Philadelphia is hot. I'm not going to say they're not a decent club. I think they're playing great. Carter Hart's a good goaltender. Their veterans have shown up. Lots of underrated scoring, not just top guys. They're getting it from everybody, and they're running deep right now. But that's a bad price. I like Philadelphia to beat Montreal as well. I will not be laying it. That has to be parlayed with another series price. So I like Philadelphia to win, and I'm not going to bet on Montreal just for the fact they're a dog. Flyers win, but after this series, things will get real for them.
All right, and I got to tell you, one of the absolute craziest things I've ever seen. I was humping Columbus big time for 4 months. They blow a 3-goal lead with 3 minutes to go. The goalie pulled 3 times. And that was a long 24 hours for me, let alone them. And then they come back and the Leafs can't kick the door down. I think Columbus and Tampa Bay's got to be going, you got to be kidding. We got to play these guys again when they got knocked off as a $4 favorite last year. I think Columbus has a big shot.
I think they have a big shot, too. I'm not sure if they're going to win. I think Tampa Bay has a lot of motivation, and they're a hell of a lot better than the Leafs. You saw
injured.
Yeah.
Hedman's but you know what? You're right. Hedman and Stamkos. Hedman's the big one. The one thing I would say, I think Columbus just comes at you. They're in your grill. But, Tampa Bay kind of not rebuilt, but massaged their lineup to deal with teams like this. Because how many times have we talked about, you say flat out dirty. This is going to be not for the faint of heart. I mean, Tampa Bay is not going to take their crap.
teeth and blood. Columbus might be a big dog, but I still think Tampa Bay gets it done. There's some other dogs that I like a lot more. So I like the Lightning to win, but it won't be easy. You're right, Brian. I think it's going to be a real grind. Columbus, these guys don't get blown out. They're just too well coached. Their positional game's great. The goaltending's been good. I got to give Tortorella credit. Every time he made a goaltending switch, it was the right time. This team's just good, and they're a professional hockey team, but I still like the Lightning. I think they just have too much talent. It'll be close, though. Give me the Lightning.
All right, I got a future on the Islanders. I'm not thrilled with the matchup here.
Me neither.
I like Washington. They're minus $1.80. The Islanders, if they get the lead, they're tough. They go for it and then they shut it down. But I think Washington in the East, Cam, we've talked about this on numerous occasions. I think they're flying under the radar and dangerous.
They are flying under the radar, but I am going to take a shot with the Islanders. I just really like Barry Trotz. I like his attitude.
I hope you're right.
I do too. I have futures, so I'm kind of doubling down. When we went to Vegas and visited you, I threw a couple logs on the fire with the Islanders. I just think they're a hard team to play against. I really like their goaltending now. I understand it's tough betting against Washington, but I haven't seen Ovechkin really open it up yet. I think this team, just the Islanders, are very, very scary. Pajot, and he's a great addition to that team because they needed secondary scoring. They do everything well. They play a great defensive game. I think it's tough. They played well versus the Capitals, too. I think Trotz knows what to do against these guys. I'm going to have to take the dog in the Islanders.
All right, wrap it up in the East, and I'll tell you this. I could see this coming a mile away, that if this ended up being the matchup. Boston's only, think about this, Boston's only about $1.50 against Carolina. They had the President's Trophy locked up. They showed up at this thing going, this is a bunch of crap. We don't want any part of this. And they'd fall from the guaranteed 1 seed that they would have had with the level of disinterest they had down to the 4 seed. Now, there's 2 things that can happen. One, they could say, all right, grab your ass, and you're a mad hockey team, and maybe they go on a run as a 4 seed because me and the President's Trophy, take a mallet to it. It may be, in a weird way, the best thing that ever happened to Boston. But, buddy, they're top-heavy, and the goaltending edge goes to Boston. But I loved Carolina against the Rangers. Everybody loved the Rangers, and
not this guy. I love Carolina.
I had everybody.
That was the biggest bet I made on any series play.
And you know why I loved them, Cam? And the regular season is a joke, right? I mean, or a distant memory. And everybody's, they did this in the regular season. I don't care. That was forever ago. And who knows? Did Carolina have to play them twice off back-to-back nights, or the third game in 4 nights? That's garbage. You were starting all over. You know why I bet them, Cam? That night that the Zamboni driver had to come in and play goalie for them. And I'm not. We chuckle, but I watched that third period, and I'm telling you, they rallied around each other and that guy. And the Leafs, with all the talent they had, they couldn't even get over the red line. Carolina is a close-knit team. Goaltending is the scary facet of this, but I think Carolina can go on a Tootsie Roll here.
I love Carolina in this series. That's the dog I'm taking. I agree with you about Boston. I think they're talented, but a little more long at the tooth. They are too top-heavy with Pasternak. I think this is their time. Carolina also, revenge factor. They played heartbreaking games against Boston, all tight games that they lost. They're a better team now. I love the dog price. I will be betting Carolina. I think they knock out the Boston Bruins. I would not be surprised if Carolina represented the East in the Stanley Cup.
Me either. So of the Columbus thing is interesting to me. It really is. But I'm with you. I mean, in the East, Carolina is the play I like the best. Let's go to the West. And I think this is a lot more cut and dried. Vegas minus 230 against Chicago, who's plus $1.90. Chicago beats Edmonton. It's a hockey series.
Vegas is going to kill these guys.
I think Vegas should be just a walkover here. And the one thing that makes Chicago dangerous is they're older. They're not beat down from playing 82 games. That being said, the goaltending edge is massive. I believe Fleury starts game 1. You've got Leonard. They get Pacioretty back. He did not play in the round robin. Vegas has depth here. I think the West is pretty cut and dry to me. I think Vegas gets by here.
I agree 100%.
Five at worst.
I think Vegas murders these guys. I agree with you 100%. Chicago ran into an Edmonton team that couldn't figure it out defensively. Vegas is the complete opposite of that. even I love the way the Vegas organization put themselves together. Like Martinez, a guy who blocks shots. You get Leonard, should have stayed with Chicago. They could use. He's better than Crawford. I could tell you that. Vegas is just awesome. They're like, I bet against them with Colorado on the weekend. That didn't work out very well. This is a team that can win the Stanley Cup. Chicago, nice win over Edmonton, but Edmonton's not Vegas. Edmonton's not mentally tough like Vegas is. Vegas should roll these guys. I agree. If Chicago wins, they might win one game in this series, tops.
Just on the roster alone, the big thing for Vegas winning that game, they avoid St. Louis, right? I mean, they only have to play Colorado. They don't have to play both St. Louis and Colorado. So winning that round robin deal was a big deal. But the thing that makes it ultra dangerous, Cam, is you've got the battle within, because Fleury is my team, and Leonard is he the goalie of the future, and should he even be the goalie right now? The fact is that every time one of those goalies goes in, they know they're playing to keep playing, and that's a big thing.
I agree. I don't even say look at the number, find a dance partner, a parlay partner, Vegas and whoever you like. Like, I'll put them in round robin parlays. Vegas gets it done. I don't care. Just turn the big juice into something respectable, and let's move on.
Colorado is still my pick to win the Stanley Cup, minus 250 against Arizona. And I don't listen, man. This Colorado team is a rocket sled.
Yeah. Sorry, the Coyote. He's been good, but you also played Nashville with horrible goaltending. Team that can't capitalize. Colorado's better. I think Arizona might give Colorado more of a scare
because of Kemper
than Blackhawks will give Vegas. But we got to move. Like, Colorado's winning this series, so
yeah, they are.
Let's just put it that way. The better team, better everything. Yeah.
All right, St. Louis, something ain't right. They're minus $2 against Vancouver. I don't know that Vancouver is necessarily the team that does it, but I would say this. I can see Vancouver maybe at least getting this to 6 games, because I do think Markstrom's capable of winning games.
I agree. I think this is out of the dogs. I'm looking. If you're looking for a severe upset, I think Vancouver could pull this off. I think they have the weapons to. They have the grit to. Like, a guy like Virtanen can get under the Blues' skin. Markstrom's been better. The Blues
Miller's a monster.
Miller's awesome. Vancouver really built their team well. It's funny. Like, the Leafs are like the opposite of Vancouver. We talk about like soft teams, Edmonton, Toronto. They're opposite. Vancouver's got grit on their team now, and they play defense and they can score. And Brock Besser's a guy that I love. Bo Horvat. They got Vancouver's got a lot of good players on their team.
And honestly, Binnington struggled a little bit.
Yep.
Right. They went to Allen in the last game, get him some work. But actually, St. Louis is having a hard time putting the puck in the net.
I might take a shot with Vancouver in this. Yeah. I think this one can go the distance, and then we'll see how it plays out. But this is probably a pass for me. But I think Vancouver is something I might bet them.
And the one that honestly, I had a great first round. I really, knock on wood, and we talked it out so much. The one that was really disheartening, and I'm convinced there's nothing. It is what it is. It's part of the game. I loved the 2 series. I loved were Columbus and I loved Winnipeg. And you lose Scheifele on the second shift. He's out there or whatever it was, and Laine. That defensive core for Winnipeg's the worst thing I've ever seen on frozen water. And I just think Calgary's phony, and I'm like, I'll fade them against anybody. And then they get Dallas, and I don't trust Dallas as far as I can throw them. And Bishop, I think's nicked up. So I'm not going near this series with a telephone pole.
Kind of like Dallas, but I'm with you. Like, there's something, a voice in my head saying maybe Calgary gets over the hump, because this is the perfect team to play.
You don't trust Dallas, right?
No, I don't trust Dallas. But if Calgary is to play Arizona, I'd probably go Arizona.
Bingo. Vancouver.
It's the only team that I think can beat. You know what I mean?
I know.
Dallas, I'm looking at them going, Calgary, what are you going to do? Like, I look at all the teams that Calgary could play. I think they'd lose to everybody but Dallas. But Dallas could still win the series. I'm going to have to pass on this series, but I kind of have a lean to Calgary now. They are playing better.
All right. So in the West, honestly, and we know an 8 can beat a 1 and all that stuff, but I honestly, Cam, and we hate being chalk eaters. Hey, we're taking Carolina over Boston. I mean, we know. I cannot see any scenario that doesn't have Vegas playing Colorado in the Western Conference Final. I don't see any scenario other than that. And when you get there, I like Colorado. I mean, Vegas, there's a lot of good things Vegas is doing right now. I just still think that the speed of this Colorado team, but that's down the road. But I just don't see any scenario where it's not Vegas versus Colorado in the Western Conference.
Yeah, St. Louis is still good. I think Vancouver is an underdog. No one's giving Calgary respect, but you're right. Like when it comes to talent, I would have to say Colorado and Vegas are head and shoulders above everybody else. St. Louis also got on a heater, and that's what needs to happen in hockey. And it's different now. We're playing pandemic hockey. They basically were a python and suffocated a team like the Sharks, and it's a little bit different. You didn't have to go through the wear and tear of the grind. So I'm with you. I think when it comes to talent, it's Vegas, Colorado in the West, and I think Carolina, as I stand right now, probably Carolina and Tampa Bay or something. But I think Carolina can go to the Stanley Cup final. I think they can beat anybody. And, that's my big dog series. I like Carolina to beat Boston.
Do we have we can find it real quick and we'll wrap this up. We got a future? What's Carolina currently? Are they
to win the Stanley Cup?
18-1?
I see 16, and on the best I've seen is 18, but I see, anywhere between 16 and 18. I got no problem with that.
Not a bad number.
And you can hedge out. If they get there, you're in party zone land. You can do it a lot of things.
So in other words, so you're telling me that Carolina is the Colin Morikawa of the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Yes. Instead of CH, buddy, I'm telling you, we could do this thing. Me and you, Brian, rock us like a hurricane, baby. We're riding Carolina hard, and I like this team. And if we can just beat I sound like I'm president of Carolina fan club now, bunch of jerks. But if they can beat Boston, the sky's the limit with these guys. They can smell it. I think they're the most dangerous team in the East, and you're right. It's Vegas or Colorado in the West.
All right, buddy. Thank God hockey's back. It's great. I mean, it in the waking up in the morning with a coffee and a hockey game it's heaven.
Yeah, it's bad. On the West Coast, buddy, you're loving it. And I'll tell you, like with the golf, like I had so much fun. Like this thing's going on until 10 o'clock my time instead of like 6 or 7. It was a dream. I wish every tournament was like that. I really loved it, man. West Coast rules.
There you have it, buddy. Enjoy. We're underway. We're down to 16. Let the Stanley Cup playoffs officially begin. There you have it. It's the Hockey Betting Podcast for the one, the only Cam Stewart. I'm Brian Blessing. Have fun and good luck on ice. Hey, folks, this is Brian Blessing. Hope you're enjoying the Hockey Betting Podcast. We have a couple chuckles, try to get you a lot of winners. Hey, we hope you like what you're hearing. And if you do, hit the subscribe button and give us a review, give us a rating. Most importantly, enjoy the hockey and keep coming back to the Hockey Betting Podcast.
The handicapping and sports odds information contained on this podcast is for entertainment purposes only. Please confirm the wagering regulations in your jurisdiction as they vary from state to state, province to province, and country to country. Using this information to contravene any law or statute is prohibited. The podcast is not associated with, nor is it endorsed by any professional or collegiate league, association, or team. This podcast does not target and is not intended for an audience under the age of 18. If you think that you have a gambling addiction, stop this podcast now and please seek help.
Gambling and betting on sports is a form of entertainment and should be about having a good time. But when done excessively, it may negatively affect other areas of a person's life, such as their physical and mental health, school or work performance, finances, and or interpersonal relationships. At BetCrisCanada.net and the Hockey Betting Podcast, we're concerned about the addiction that gambling may cause, and for this reason, we encourage everyone to practice responsible gambling, an approach to gambling that helps you ensure that it remains an enjoyable activity. Here are the main principles of responsible gambling. Don't think of gambling as a way to make money. Always gamble with money that you can afford to lose. Set limits and stick to them. Never chase losses. Don't gamble when you're depressed or upset, and create a healthy balance. Always be aware of how much time you spend gambling or thinking about gambling, and do not allow gambling to cause you to miss out on time with family and friends or time spent on other activities you enjoy. By following these guidelines, gambling can be a good time and great entertainment. If you feel at any time that your gambling is taking away from important areas of your life, is causing you stress or depression, or is leading to financial losses that are beyond your control, please reach out for help. Learn more at responsiblegambling.org.